So this is, I think it's episode 4 or episode 3, but this time we're joined by Charlie, who is an Aberdeen fan.
Glad to
So
be back on.
yeah, I had you on briefly when it was Jimmy Clean getting sacked.
Yes, yeah, that was a big moment in Scottish football, I have to say.
Still no replacement.
Still no replacement at the moment. Peter Leven's obviously he's doing an okay job. I've always said it in my videos. I'm pretty happy to have him at the end of the season if it means we can get a better option. But yeah, no, so far no replacement.
Who would you like to see take that vacancy as Aberdeen manager?
You know, I actually said this Thursday. Like it's funny because all the time when I've had to replace manager, I've always kind of knew who I think's going to get it or who I hope's going to get it. But at this point, I really don't know who's going to get the job. Obviously, Lutz said that there's going to be about 5 candidates. They said it'll be a week or two before they're going to be a manager in, but I've actually got no clue. If I'm being completely honest with you, I've got no clue.
So Aberdeen manager list beat at the weekend. So the SPFL, the now Hearts are still top of the table. Do you think Hearts can stay invincible?
They got beat in the start of the season.
Like invincible and winning the title, I mean.
Oh, right.
Will Hearts win the league?
I think they will win it. Like, I have to be honest, I think they will. I just think, see, at the moment, Celtic, as despite them winning today, I still don't think that squad's the level that they need to be. Same with Rangers. As much as I think Danny Rose done a cracking job since coming into Rangers, I think that squad is still pretty poor. And you look at the Hearts squad; they don't seem like they're falling off. They had a little blip around November, December time. They beat Celtic away from home, and it just started over again. And I just think they're going to do it. I just think that McInnes has got them, well, playing electric, is how some Hearts fans would describe it. But I think Hearts will do it.
So obviously you think Hearts will win the league now. I think Jans Bertolaska's Motherwell's team is up there for title contender.
I think, you know what? You know what's probably screwed them is the start of the season when they went 6 consecutive draws, something like that. I think that's probably screwed them. So no, but if Motherwell finished 4th this season, that's still a really really successful season. Like Jens Bertolaski came in at the start of the season. A lot of people were a bit optimistic. They knew his football was good and whatnot. First few games, they weren't winning, but they were playing really, really well. So I think a lot of Motherwell fans were still on board completely with him. And then since then, they've had 9 clean sheets in a row at home. I mean, the form has just been fantastic. I mean, they've had some stuff where Elliot Watt's been absolutely fantastic as well. He was at St Johnstone last season. Obviously, it was okay, but he's reached a new height under Jens Bertolaski. But in my opinion, I don't see that really happening.
So that is, I think Motherwell are in the title race at the moment, but like anything can happen in football.
Absolutely.
That's been shown this weekend. Kilmarnock beat us 3-0. We, not in the best of form, 2 defeats out of the last 4, I think it was. Going in against probably a stronger Rangers side than what they were, and taking a draw out of it.
Yeah, I mean, Scottish football this season has been something absolutely crazy. Like Hearts obviously doing what they've been doing, but you've got teams like Motherwell doing absolutely mental. Aberdeen have been really, really poor. I mean, Livingston haven't won since August. It's look at Falkirk as well. They're kind of a little bit going under the radar as well. They've been absolutely fantastic as well.
Actually, on that note, going on about teams now, Livingston, Davy Martindale, the new sporting director, and Mervyn Bartley's taking first team manager role. Do you think that's a good move, bad move? Where do you think Livy will do with that?
For me, on the note of Davy Martindale, I think him stepping away from that managerial role is probably the right decision. Now, a lot of Livingston fans are still unhappy about him being at the club, which I think is harsh. He's done a lot for Livingston. I get it. He probably should have been let go, but I'm obviously staying at the club. Is obviously there's positive and negative. How can he do in that sporting director role? For Marvin Bartley's sake, I think they're going to have no chance of staying up now. I think if there was any chance before under David Martindale, I think you could really back it, and you could say, right, with David Martindale, you could see a possibility of them staying up. But Marvin Bartley, for me, I just think he's a good coach, 100%. I still think he's a very good coach, but I just think there's some coaches that aren't able to do that number one spot, and I think that's what Marvin Bartley is. So for me, it's very pure for Livingston, in my opinion.
So, as a transfer window is about to close, I think it closes tonight or tomorrow. So there's been lots of really busy transfer window in the past 3 days. Most teams. Kieron Bowie leaving Hibs for 6 million and a million plus add-ons, so 7 million in price. Is Kieron Bowie worth that money?
In my opinion, I think it's an absolute mental price. But I do want to say I think it's absolutely fantastic what Hibs have done. I've said that the whole time. I do think what Hibs are doing, holding out for a big price. For, in all fairness, a young Scottish player, an international, a guy that has scored goals. They're not on a consistent basis, obviously, but is he worth 7 million? I don't think so. But I think I absolutely rate it from what Hibs are doing. And I think more Scottish clubs should take notice. I mean, some of the bigger prices for players like Miovski left Irene for a few seasons ago for about similar prices. And it's funny now because obviously Kieron Bowie went for more than Bojan Miovski. Bojan Miovski scored 50 goals in 2 seasons. And how many goals has Kieron Bowie scored in 2 seasons? Like, is it 22 or something?
23 goals in
20.
52 appearances.
I mean it's not it obviously isn't the worst goal scoring record, especially for how young he is, but it's mental when you're comparing the two score.
Also, that's going to get another note. Maswanhise, he's obviously Motherwell striker. Offers, if Kieron Bowie is going for 7 million, what on earth is Maswanhise going to go for?
That is a good question. As much as I do think Maswanhise is it's harsh to say a better player than Kieron Bowie. It's difficult because can he go for? Is he a 9 million, 8 million pound player? I mean, if Kieron Bowie is, I suppose Maswanhise must be in the region of 7, 8, 9 or million as well. I mean, then if you're talking about Maswanhise, what prices a Raskin, who's been unbelievable for a lot of the season as well. I mean, the prices, I do think it's much better from Scottish teams asking for these prices, but if I was to put a direct bid on it and I'd say how much he'd be worth, I'd say, I think similar to Kieron Bowie, I'd go 7 million.
The thing is, some teams will offer, like, they'll see Motherwell as a smaller club, which, compared to probably some of the teams, they are a smaller club, but will the bids be lower because of the team? Or will it just be because of Maswanhise in general? Like, you could get a 3 million bid for Maswanhise because it's Motherwell. But then again, if he was at Rangers or Celtic, you'd be getting, as said, 8, 9, 10 million offers. It depends on what team you play for. But Maswanhise, regardless of who he plays for, he's worth a lot.
That's a really good point because, as you said, if he was at Rangers, he'd probably be going for about 10 or 12 million at this point. Because you've got to look at players like Chermiti, who was reportedly got to put a £13 million bid in. So if players like Chermiti are going for 30 million, how much is Maswanhise then? Like, if we're genuinely serious, and then you got to look at other players like Elliot Watt, undoubtedly be one of the best midfielders in the league. Another man, Josh Mulligan, another absolutely fantastic addition to Hibs team. And how much is he worth?
Exactly. Also, there might be some more deadline business done with some teams. Do you see any business being done with Aberdeen?
Yes, at the moment we're looking at Scott Burns reported today that we're trying to get a few more centre backs in, but we're also reportedly very, very close to signing a German midfielder, Giger, I think is how you say it, or Grieger. He looks the part, I have to be honest. He does look the part. Derek Ray reported that he is one of those players that can hit the ground running, especially in the Scottish game, can adapt to the Scottish game very quickly. And I mean, I've looked at a few highlight clips of him. The guy can hit a strike, like the guy can hit a football. I mean, the only kind of problem with that is that his injury records have set him back. He's been at Hoffenheim since under 12 level. I mean, he's been at Hoffenheim for absolutely donkeys now as well. His injury record isn't great, which is something to look at. But I think a really positive thing about that signing is the fact that we've put an option to buy on the end of the loan, which is really, really positive because obviously a lot of fans have been unhappy with the fact that how many loans have been, like Sanya, Lyle Cameron, just two to say the name. Like obviously Lyle Cameron came with a lot of controversy anyway because I'm coming from Rangers and just being an old firm club and whatnot. But yeah, I think Giga will be announced in the next couple of hours, in my opinion.
Well, Hibs have also been pretty busy in the transfer window. Did you watch the game today? The Hibs Rangers
I
game?
did. Yes, I did.
So obviously all three of our new signings played. Kai Andrews, Owen Eldon, and Dean Scott or Dan Scott. I can't remember how you pronounce his first name. But they three played today. Kai Andrews came on really early in the game, but I think he made a really solid debut, to be honest. But
Yeah, I was really, really impressed by
right.
Kai Andrews, I have to be honest. I think out of all the three players making their debuts, I was most impressed by Kai Andrews, especially coming into a big game like Rangers at home, where the stakes are high. You want a midfielder to kind of control the game, and I think he done a really similar job to what Josh Mulligan would have done. I think he looked so comfortable in the ball. Sorry. The other two, Dane Scarlett, I thought at points could have released the ball a bit quicker. A few more, he looks physically strong, which is a positive. But there's still a lot to be desired about him. I think he will become a good bit of business. For Owen Eldon, I think the game kind of overwhelmed him, if I'm being honest. I don't think he could get in the game as much. When the bits that I've seen, I didn't see a lot in the first half, but I thought he was not I wouldn't say the worst because I don't think he played particularly badly, but I don't think he got up to speed for the game, which is understandable. It's his first game. Once again, as I said, it's against Rangers. It's a high stakes game. It's a big game.
Also
It's a
19
high.
years old.
19 years old, another thing to bring into consideration as well, and especially as you're the kind that I know Dane Scarlett was on the pitch as well, but you're the kind of guy that's meant to replace Kieron Bowie, who left for 7 million. Fans are going to be expecting a lot of you, but I wouldn't say any of them really played that badly. I think there's still a lot to improve, especially with Dane Scarlett coming on loan. You want a loan sign to kind of hit the ground running, so I think he will gradually get better. I think he still will score goals for Hibs, but yeah, I thought his debut's done pretty well, if I'm being honest.
Also, another signing potentially in Felix Paslak. Do you think he will be a good addition if they gets the green light and joins us?
I think it will be. I think Mekwa is an okay player. I think he does the job. I think inconsistent a little bit going forward, a lot to be desired in my opinion. I think that final ball's just off, and I think Paslak could definitely solve a few problems at that position. I know Chris Cadden is also filled in at that place as well. A lot of Hibs fans have been unhappy about him as well. But to be fair, with Paslak, it hasn't really worked out at Bosham. A lot of fans are happy to see him leave. Obviously, the problems have been that they're obviously just waiting for to get a bit of depth in that right back role. But it does look like he is going to be joining him. But he's obviously played at some high pedigree clubs like Dortmund. He was a starter. He was a main player for Dortmund for years when they were getting to Champions League quarterfinals, semi-finals, which is definitely something to be desired about. That's like as a Hibs, obviously you being a Hibs fan, you'll be looking at that and thinking,
Yeah.
wow, that looks absolutely crazy. I mean, he's still at that age as well, where he's kind of coming into his prime years as well. So he's not going to be kind of the player that you need to develop for a few years. Like Megwa, I think he's still young, so he can definitely learn a lot from Paslak, in my opinion.
So based off of, in general, the SPFL, based off of it, do you think enough has been done with how VAR is treated, how referees are? Do you think there's needs to be more looked at into VAR and referees in Scottish football?
Absolutely. I've always kind of said this now. I think we need to start making refs full time. I think that's a major problem in this game. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of VAR. I couldn't imagine Scottish football without VAR now, which is mental to say, but I am a big fan of it. I just think VAR on its own isn't the problem. It's not the technology that's doing the bad work. It's very clearly the people that are running VAR that are doing a bad job. And I mean, as much as I didn't fully agree with the red card against Dundee United with the Hearts game, didn't fully agree with the tackle. I've slept on it. To be fair, I do think they got the right decision there. The red card for Kamara, as much as it's soft, you can't be putting your head into another player like that. But look, VAR, in my opinion, has its bad moments, had its good moments. A lot of it is bad, but it is solely a good thing. It is unfortunately a good thing. It gets a lot wrong for something that's meant to get I don't think it makes the game better, in my opinion. I'll say that.
Obviously, as I didn't want you to listen to anything about VAR, I was speaking to a couple Hibs fans. Obviously, I didn't get a bit on video, but so I was saying what their thoughts on VAR are before the game, and one of them turned around and said to me, the reason why Rangers and Celtic, well, Celtic did really well in Europe, so we can put them out the window. Rangers losing in Europe is because they're refereed properly.
That as much as I would like to agree with that, I have to. I don't know. If I'm being honest, I wouldn't agree with that. I don't think that's. Look, VAR standard in Europe is a lot better, but that is kind of as much. I wouldn't say it's a myth. Aberdeen obviously played FC Bucharest at the start of the season, and I mean I don't know if you've seen the decision for the red card. It was absolutely mental. A referee that had been done for Max Fiction. I feel like if you're ever done for anything like Max Fiction or anything to do with that, you shouldn't be able to referee at any level again, which is just crazy to say. But yeah, I wouldn't exactly say that in my opinion. If I was to give my full opinion on it, I wouldn't agree with that.
So based off of the whole transfer window, what is the signing of the January window so far?
Oh, that's a great question. So far, oh, that's a very tough one. I think the guy that has the potential to be the signing the window, definitely Scott Wilson. I think he looks really tight in the ball. But I think if I was I'll give you three. Now I think these are all players that haven't really hit the ground running yet, but I think Now I think one of them, as I said, Scott Wilson. Now I know this might sound like a bit Aberdeen bias, but I think Leo Cameron will come really good for Aberdeen. I think he's already shown that in a few games he's played for us. I mean, one of our big problems has been deliveries, corners, set pieces, and he's already solved that very, very quickly. So I think he'll be a cracking signing. I think Kai Andrews could definitely be up there. I think that even after today, I think you could even put in Dane. I still think Dane Scarlett will be a good sign. I don't know about signing the season, signing in the January window, but that would be my three. I think Kai Andrews, Scott Wilson, and Leo Cameron.
There is a couple ones that I would say that are different. I mean, I wouldn't really say it's signing of the window. It's more for him and his career for a bigger move. Josh McPake to Hearts on the pre-contract. Is that a good signing? It's a 50-50. Because, I mean...
For me, I think it will be a great signing. Now, he's going to be the kind of player that's going to be backup for your Kizarides, your Braga, your Shankland. But honestly, I watched him on Friday night. He was absolutely fantastic. His goal was absolutely cracking. And I think he's one of those players that I look at. Hearts have already went into the championship market. They've already got Harry Milne there. That's came out and been an absolute. He's been, in my opinion, the best left back in the league. And I think I don't think Josh McPake will come into the league and be the best player in the league or be the best winger in the league. But he's that kind of player that you'll bring him off the bench 70 minutes and he'll offer something different to what Casaritas can offer you. I think he's a player that'll chop in on your foot, take lots of shots. And I mean, his shot actually is absolutely fantastic as well. He's a hard worker. He's kind of everything you want in a winger, in my opinion.
Is there anything else that's shocked you in the transfer window?
Anything else that's shocked me in the window? In an Aberdeen perspective, I would have to say Dante Polvara leaving the club. I didn't see it happening. I am absolutely devastated him leaving the club. Fantastic player for me. Always really rated him. I think one of those things. I think that further down the line, I think Aberdeen fans will learn to appreciate him because he, believe it or not, got a lot of stick for being a bad player, and I just don't think that's anywhere near true. That's definitely up there for a shock of the window. I mean, if we're counting managerial sackings, Jimmy Thielen was early January. So that's another shocker. Trying to think what else. I mean, Kieron Bowie leaving for $7 million probably has to be it, in my opinion.
There's no way he's worth $7 million. I mean, I'm a Hibs fan, obviously. I've seen Kieron play lots of games, but I would have took around 3.5. I wouldn't have said seven. I would absolutely take because it's a bargain. But Italian teams are starting to appreciate more in Scottish football young talent. Like they did this a few seasons ago. Hellas Verona as well. Actually, they've took Kieron Bowie now for $7 million. I think they took Josh Doig for 4.4. Josh Doig went to Hellas Verona for. Then he went from Hellas Verona to Sassuolo, and he's doing really well in his career now.
Well, aye, look at that. Like, I don't watch a lot of Italian football. I do watch a little bit, but Sassuolo are having a pretty decent season. I'm pretty sure they're about 11th in the league. Josh Doig has been one of the best left backs in the league as well. You've got to look at other players. Lewis Ferguson's been undoubtedly one of the best midfielders in that league and has done fantastic for Bologna, winning them their first trophy in countless years. He's the captain of the football club as well. Even Shea Adams has done not bad over there as well. Like, there's just countless Scottish players that have done absolutely fantastic. Aaron Hickey done well before moving to the Premier League. I mean, that's one of the things. I think Italian teams are really getting into the Scottish market, and I think, if I'm being honest, I don't know who will be next, but I think it won't be too long until they drop into the Scottish market again.
So this is quite a really big question. It's 50-50 in your own opinion. The World Cup's coming up for Scotland. What is your goalkeeper, centre-back, midfielder and forward for the Scotland team for the World Cup?
Oh, that's a great question. I think goalkeeper can only be really one, which is mental to say, but Craig Gordon probably will be my number one. You want me to give you one defender or two defenders?
We'll go with the full team. So I would go same
Full
for
team.
goalkeeper Craig Gordon.
Right, full team. My
First
defenders would
centre-back.
be
I'd say
centre backs for
Hanley.
me. I'm close to saying Stuart Finlay, but for me, I would go with Scott McKenna, and I would go next to him, Craig Halkett. I think
John
Stuart
Strickland
Finlay has
there.
been good, but I think Scott McKenna's already got that experience in the team. So for me, I'd go with him for the World Cup. My right back,
Get a bit of stick as well. These two might get a good bit of stick, but Hanley and Suter. Hanley's really good at reading the ball in there. He might not be as fast as he used to be in reactions, but he's still a unit. So I'd go Hanley, Suter at the back. Left back, Robertson and Josh Doig. I'd put between them two. And right back, probably just the usuals. What's your left back and right back?
my right back I'd go with Aaron Hickey, stick him at right back, and then left back I think it has to be Andy Robertson. He's captain and whatnot.
What is your midfield?
Midfield, I would go with for the formation. It'd be a 4-3-3 for me, and I would have number 6. I would have Lewis Ferguson.
Agreed.
I would have who would I have? I would have Scott McTominay. I would have Billy Gilmore. Sorry?
I could see Josh Mulligan getting in that squad.
Absolutely, but I think it's one of those. I think it's very, very. He's very inexperienced, and to put him in the World Cup, I'm very, very definitely 100% have him in the squad. Definitely have a part to play in the team, but I don't know about starting him. And I'm a big fan of Josh Mulligan as well.
So my midfield would be Josh Mulligan, McTominay, and Gilmore.
Yeah, I pretty much agree with that as well.
John McGinn, obviously, is probably one of the best, but it would either be Mulligan or John McGinn. And then attack is probably the hardest one because, no offence to Scotland, but they lack in having a goal-scoring international striker, to be honest.
Yep.
Lyndon Dykes is pretty poor on the ball. He should get a bit more game time. He doesn't score as much as he should as a striker. Obviously, Kieron Bowie, he's still learning. He's only 23 years old. But Shea Adams is just inconsistent for me, for Scotland. He's good with his club, but he's inconsistent internationally. But I would go with Lyndon Dykes and Bowie.
What are you playing a 4-4-2?
Yeah.
Right.
I'm still in the midfield.
Right. I'm still going to stick with my 4-3-3, but I am going to go right wing. If Ben Doak's fit, I'd have him. Left wing, I'd put John McGinn. And up front, I would probably put Lawrence Shankland, and probably been the best striker in the league this season in Scotland, and it would make sense for me.
Have you got any questions you would like to ask me?
Who's been the most underrated Hibs player this year?
Underrated Hibs player this year? It might sound a bit off. There's a couple I would put. I mean, obviously Josh Mulligan, he isn't really underrated. People are kind of starting to rate him, but if you're putting Josh Mulligan out the window, probably Jamie McGrath and actually Salinger as well.
Good
Challengers
shouts, I think.
kept us in games in big times. I mean, we nearly drew 3-3 in the derby if it wasn't for Salinger. He's kept us in games. Today had absolutely nothing. He didn't actually have anything to deal with except from one cross. I mean, which is
Yeah,
mental.
I think
When you're playing
Salinger, when he
Rangers
first
as
came
well,
to the
that's
league,
mental.
was. What, sorry?
When you're playing Rangers and your expected goals is nearly 3.2 and Rangers was like 0.94 or something. That is mental when you're playing Rangers.
I know. I think when Salinger first came to the league, I think a lot of Hibs fans and Scottish football fans were just a bit optimistic. They wanted. I think a lot of Hibs fans do still think Jordan Smith's a good goalkeeper. For me, I've never really rated him. Don't think he is a good goalie. I think for Hibs' standard, I don't think he is. And I think when Salinger came in, I think a lot of Hibs fans were quite optimistic. Also, the fact that I can't remember who exactly he's played in a friendly. I think it was a third division German side.
Rockweiss
I
Essen.
think he ended up winning the game. But I think he made a big mistake in it, which didn't help his case. Jordan Smith started a few games at the start of the season. I think Salinger's first game was Livy away in the Cup, and he kept a clean sheet, and after that was kind of really given that opportunity, and he hasn't really lost it since.
For you, who's the most underrated Aberdeen player this season?
Oh, the most underrated Aberdeen player. I mean, it's hard to pick because not really had that many players that have been unbelievable. But if I was to go on a more underrated by Scottish football fans, not really Aberdeen fans, I would go Dylan Loban. Or no, you know what? I'll change that. I'd go Matt Canester. I've not really seen a lot of fans, really like Scottish football fans in general, give him a lot of credit, and I think undoubtedly has been Aberdeen's best player for 18 months. I think without him and this team, Aberdeen didn't win the Scottish Cup, and I think without him this season, we are 9th, 10th. Consistently keeps us in games. I think he's getting a lot of teams in this league as well. Probably beside, I think he gets in, and this is going to sound very, very biased, but I think he gets in. I think he's better than Liam Scales. I think he would get in that Celtic side. I think Rangers is tough because John Suter's a big part, plays a big part in that Rangers game, and I think Fernandes has been fantastic, so that's tough as well. And he doesn't get in the Hearts squad because I mean, look at what Stuart Finlay. But I think he gets in a lot of teams in this league because he's in an absolute colossal at the back. He does everything you kind of want your centre back to do. He obviously wins the ball in the air. His passing range has been absolutely fantastic as well for Aberdeen. But so I'd go with Canester.
Quickly to finish off, where do you think Aberdeen will finish this season?
If I'm taking my Dawn's tinted glasses off, I would. It's so tough because I've still got a massive inspiration to kind of for this club to be able to finish in the top 6. But looking at this team, you've got experienced players like Shinnie, Armstrong that just clearly aren't good enough or fit enough to play week in, week out. I'm going to say 6th. I'm going to go 6th.